Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I needn't introduce myself. I think that mystery will make you more inquisitive after my talk to find out who I am. But I was not on earth for 8 minutes last year. In the month of April, I was supposed to be here. But eventually, when I went, I was sent back and told that I need to deliver a talk to the people here. So here I am. So, ladies and gentlemen, my journey has been very violent. It has taken a lot of suffering. There has been a toll on my EQ, that's the emotional quotient. So, as a warrior is concerned, we have certain limitations. In case we become very soft and sensitive, we lose out on the knack of doing our duty in front of the enemy. So yes, we are ruthless, but we are the gentle giants, we are the gentle beasts. And we are unleashed when required, and we are the most docile when we are not at war. We are the most vulnerable then. So ladies and gentlemen, who is a warrior? A warrior is a person with a certain set of skills, courage, and his foresightedness. A warrior is a person who has that extreme will to breathe, to live, to quench his thirst, and to feed his or her stomach. So let me take you back to the medieval times, where the concept of a warrior and warfare came into place. Then eventually I'll come down to the actuals of battlefields like Siachen Glacier, to the unforgiving terrains of Africa, and the lowest of lows of humanity, and which is beyond anyone's normal imagination. So ladies and gentlemen, the early man was compelled to hunt, and hunt in a way in which he had to improvise, strategize, he had to make or invent tools to hunt, and hunt a prey which would be big enough to meet his requirements for hunger. Eventually, when man succeeded in that, there was another gender, the female, who realized he is dependable. Size of the families increased. So did the size of the prey increased. And so did the tools to hunt become more effective and efficient. But what compelled man to do that? Hunger and the will to survive. Hunt or be hunted was the rule of the land that time. And probably keeping that in mind, it's come back again. Because if we look at modern warfare today, for example, the Russia and the Ukraine crisis, there was a time where in history, two kings had a duel, and amongst the two who won, decided a peace treaty amongst two nations of warring sides. But here, you don't see the enemy coming. And the enemy is present in land, air, and sea. And the most helpless part about all of it is, there is no escape. So the old methods of warfare, where man used to face man, has become primitive. Now it is called non-contact warfare, NCW. Artificial intelligence, space command. There are talks of human colonies which are going to be set up in Mars and on the moon to exploit the natural resources so that mankind can reverse engineer and make elements which are effective and which can raise our stakes for energy generation. So warfare has become very complex with times, and in coming times, it's going to be beyond your imagination. Earlier, we used to feel the speed of supersonic. Mach 1, Mach 2 is immense, tremendous. But now the in thing is hypersonic. Before you realize there's a missile coming your way, it's already hit. Being undetected by the radar, stealth, surprise. So warfare has changed over the years. So now let me get back to a warrior mindset now. So Siachen is one terrain where temperature goes at least up to minus 70 degrees in the winters, peak of winters. That is one battlefield and terrain which compels even the bravest of the brave to realize that it is nature which is going to dictate the terms in terms of how you survive in that terrain. Because when you go there, for hundreds of kilometers till your eyes can see, you will not get to see any vegetation, you will not get to see any wildlife, there will be no mosquitoes, there will be no rodents, no insects. All that is present there are the sharp rays of the sun, the pin drop silence, and a faint sound of the breeze hitting upon your face and passing through by your ears. That's it. And when a soldier wants to talk, he cannot talk, because the very echo of your voice can trigger an avalanche and take away your life. So you can imagine the power of nature up in the Himalayas over those mountains, where at night you are nearest to the gods, where you see the stars and the Milky Way in a little bigger and a clearer formation at night. So eventually, isolation becomes your best friend in that terrain, in the high altitude warfare. And the only area that a soldier gets to move around is approximately half the size of the dais or the stage that you're witnessing right now. And that is a luxury, trust me. We have to be very careful. We cannot take bath. We will die out of hypothermia. We cannot touch metal. It will result in metal biting and your skin will peel off. There is no means of communication other than the satellite phone, which has to be kept very carefully. It's an asset which you cannot afford to be reckless or careless with while handling and packaging. And eventually, it inculcates a feeling of responsibility, taking care of one another. That is what isolation teaches you. You question your relevance in life. And once you are there, shoulder to shoulder to your soldiers, you earn their trust. And you know, courage and fortitude is the norm, because fortitude is the factor which always keeps telling you in that terrain that don't be a Gama in the land of the Lama. Because if there are certain limitations set by nature, please follow it. Don't challenge it. So eventually then comes a terrain called South Sudan. So the day of the induction, unfortunately, this particular warrior was detailed for receiving the mortal remains of his officers and brother. And the way the soldiers were communicating with each another by glancing into one another's eyes was, I think, more terrible than a scream that you can hear. And the eyes had a question when they glanced at one another. Will we be back alive? Will we be able to see our parents, wives, children, brothers and sisters again? And when that reality strikes, that is when the maturity and the dimension in which a man enters is totally different. Because you know that you are going into a terrain where the enemy is ruthless. There is no mercy over there. And very rightly said, as you see by the visuals behind me, they say God is everywhere but at one place. That is here. Africa. We need to protect it. We need to save it. We need to nurture it. We need to help them. Trust me. Today, when you see each other sitting left and right of you and front of you and behind you, trust me, you are living a life of paradise and luxury. I asked a small child there in Africa, what would you want to survive? He said, just give me a small container, a plastic container. I said, why? And for what? He said, I can preserve my fish in that, and I can carry water, and I can walk as much as I want in the direction away from the Nile. I saw a 4-year-old child. Look at the warrior mindset in these African tribes. They just never give up. A 4-year-old child fishing all by himself. And I kept observing him for half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour, 1.5 hours. I went for my patrolling. I came back with my troops to the base. I again saw there were approximately 4 hours had passed by. And that small kid's body language, his shoulders were shrugging down. He was facing the ground, being morose and discouraged. And I went and asked him, why is that? And he said, if I do not get to catch a fish today, I sleep hungry today. There is nobody to ask him for food. There is nobody to cover him with a quilt at night. There is nobody to offer water to that child. And they are such tribals, they are such warriors with a balanced mindset. They do not cry. They do not know how to cry. They are immune to disease. So whenever you tend to complain that, yes, I don't have this, I don't have that, always remember, there are thousands of children miles away from here who are in desperate need to survive by the hour as we speak right now. It's a matter of survival for them. So, as a warrior, it impacts. That compassion and empathy comes into play. And eventually, the war broke out. The lowest of lows were seen there. Humans are supposed to be given a respectful burial or follow the particular religious way of sending them by praying to the gods. We saw humans who were no more being eaten away by stray dogs, animals, and birds. So it took a lot of violence, it took a lot of chaos, it took a lot of suffering to become so calm and composed in life that when you meet a warrior, make it a point to respect them because they've seen something which is beyond their means of explanation to you. It's so traumatizing that a soldier is duty bound to keep quiet most of the times so as to keep your mindset protected, to safeguard you and your imagination from the level of miseries, hardship, and tough times that they've witnessed. So whenever you are moving out on the road, you see a soldier, be it at the railway station, airport, anywhere, just make it a point to smile back at him. He doesn't want anything. He just needs that support of your smile and appreciation. That is it. So, to conclude regarding warriors and warfare, warfare is going to definitely take its toll. And now is the time for the children from South to come into play, because you are the brains behind the computer. You are the brawn, you are the future, you are the creators and the designers of AI, artificial intelligence. I see it, I observe from things in North India. The amount of talent that is here is immense. And trust me, there will be a time where in this particular institution, you will see foreign students seeking admission to come here and study. And remember what I've said this today on the 4th of February 2024, and from 10 years from now, I'm sure you will have foreign students seeking admission here. Have faith and belief in yourself. It is because of the Indian soldier that the British Army was able to achieve victory during World War II. The liberation of Haifa in Israel was done by Major Dalpat Singh of the Indian Army. Sikhs and Rajput soldiers together fought with lancers mounted on horses against an armed force of the Jordanian army, which were equipped with modern rifles. So you can see the courage and the mindset. Land of the brave, Coorg, General Karyappa, Field Marshal Sam Manekshaw, Parsi. We have such a diversity of cultures and religions. That is our strength. Nurture it. All battles on this planet have been fought at the most beautiful places, because it is the toughest and the broken roads that lead to the most beautiful destinations in life. Work hard for it. You have to earn your sleep. Tire yourself every day to an extent where your sleep should be like a wink of an eye and it is morning. Do it. Earn your sleep, and believe in yourself. Trust me, the limits will be limitless. Thank you so much.